Hi everyone, so welcome to a beginner's class in your Pilates program. So this is a sample beginner's class, but it will be very similar to one of your Pilates program that is included in your online Pilates program. So what we'll be going through today is basically would be a sample of a class, 2-3 classes from the beginning of the program. So in the very beginning of the program, we go through the very basics in one different positions. So it's either lying on your back or on a floor, on your hands and knees, or in standing. This class is going to be a combination of those movements, and I won't really go into the details of your key elements because that's a video on its own, but it just gives you an idea of what a beginner's class may look like. So again, you don't need really much equipment. You need a mat and a folded towel just to support your head. Make sure you have a nice clear space and a little bit of water handy close by if you need to drink. But once you've got everything, we can get going. So we're going to start the class in standing, and if you need any support for the beginning of your Pilates classes, you can have a chair close by to have it handy if you need to hold on to. But we start with your feet together, and then we're going to go toes out, heels out. Quickly run through your key elements. You want to make sure your toes are pointing forwards, your knees are soft. You're going to think of where your tailbone is. You want to try and drop it slightly downwards. You want to feel where your hips are, and you're going to want to feel where your ribs are so they lie exactly on top of your hips. You want to open your shoulders as you're smiling from your collarbones, chin in. So really think of elongating your spine all the way up. So your posture is important when you start off with. And we're going to start with some simple weight shifting. So you just shift your weight forwards towards your toes and shift your weight backwards. And again, you want to take it at your own pace. It's not a very fast class, especially in the beginners section. And you want to take your time. You can do this bare feet, you can have socks, you can do it on a carpet, you can do it anywhere you like, as long as you're comfortable doing it. And a few movements going forwards and backwards. Again, if you want to close your eyes whilst you do this, you can. This will improve the sensation through your feet and help your joint receptors as well. And then stop somewhere in the middle. So you want to feel like your feet have started to engage a little bit. And we're going to start by doing a few movements through your top all the way down to your bottom. So we're going to start with a bit of chin rolls down and then coming back up towards the ceiling. So nice, easy movement. Just get your neck and your spine moving. And then you're going to stop in the middle. You're going to turn to the side. And then we go the other way. Again, if your neck is a little bit stiff, don't push into any pain. Last one. And then stop in the center. Now we take a few shoulder rolls going back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take a few shoulder rolls, go forwards. 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now we take a corkscrew, so reaching the arms up behind your head and then lift and lower. So we take a breath in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. We're going to do that for 4 more times. Breathing in, breathing out, 3 and out, 2 and out. Last one. And out. Very good. Now we're going to bend slightly your knees. I'm going to bend slide to the side and then lift the opposite hand up and over into mermaid stretch. And then breathing out, we come back up. So bend to the side, reach up and over, and breathe out. Breathing in, side bend and reach, and then come back. For 4, and breathe out. For 3, and breathe out. For 2, and breathe out. For 1, and breathe out. Very good. Now we're going to head into moving a little bit your hips. So this is a little bit of a mini squat. So push your hips back, sit, and then come back up. So it's not a really deep squat. We begin really nice and easy, enough to get your hips and your knees going and to really get the technique right. So you want to keep your toes pointing forward. Imagine there's a chair behind you. You're going to bend your hips, bend slightly your knees, reach your hands forward for balance. And we go down, and you want to squeeze your bottom as you lift up. So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And it's really nice and easy mini squats. Again, if you want to push it a little bit more, you can always lower a bit further down. But since it's a beginner's class, you just want to take it nice and easy, get the form right. Keep your heels down, we're not lifting the heels. 3, 2, last one. Very good. So that's get your hips and your knees going a little bit more. Now feet again parallel, hands on the hips, or else if you need to hold onto a chair, this is where you hold on. We're going to rise up on tiptoes and then we're going to drop back down. Rise up on tiptoes and drop back down. Again, as I said, we're going to start from the top all the way going down to the bottom, getting your body to move a little bit more. We rise up, we drop. We rise up, we drop. And breathing is integral to all of your exercises. You want to keep breathing. Don't hold your breath in, but really just focus on when you're doing the effort, you breathe out. So you allow that pelvic floor and the other muscles in your core group to focus and to obviously contract. Last one. Very good. So that's your calves really nice and warmed up. Now a little bit of balance work. We're going to do some marching on the spot. So again, feet underneath your hips. If you need to hold, you can hold. Otherwise, keep your hands on the hips. And we're going to fold your foot. So start off with your right, where you're going to press onto your toes. Fold, lift the heel, and if you're comfortable, lift it all the way up so that your knee is in line with your hip. Then drop it down, almost like you're printing your foot back down. So the opposite side, press onto your toe, lift. Then drop it down and lower. Opposite side. So when we're doing marching on the spot, we're trying to avoid a whole lot of moving sideways with our bodies. We're trying to just fold the leg, lifting it up towards us and not bending the chest down, keeping it upright and then lowering down. So this is why I mentioned you can even hold on to a chair or a table surface or wherever you want to, even a wall if you want to. So you're starting off nice and slow, or you're finding your balance a little bit weak, you slowly build on it by going really nice and slow initially, and then you can progress from there. So again, thinking of keeping that back nice and straight. So we're still working on your upper body and core, but we are folding the leg towards you rather than bending towards it. And keep it going. One more. And release. Very good. So after the marching position, we're going to take a little bit of a roll down onto the mat, and we do some exercises onto the mat. So we've warmed up our body in a standing position. We did a bit of balance work and a little bit of strength work and a little bit of mobility as well. Now we're getting onto the mat. So getting onto the mat, you can come at the edge of the mat if you'd like, and then we're going to do a roll down. Now this is a kind of exercise to get your spine mobilizing, going downwards. If you feel uncomfortable doing, you don't need to do it and you can immediately go onto the mat. So it's again a choice for you in the beginning of the classes to start off wherever you wish. So if you're going to do the roll down, hands by your side, you're going to take a breath in, you're going to reach hands up. You look up with your gaze in your head, and then as you breathe out, you roll your chin towards your chest, lower the hands. Then you want to think of ribs going down towards your hips and slide those fingertips over the knees. Keep the knees slightly bent and keep reaching down towards your toes. Keep your gaze in between the knees and then take a breath in and then breathe out. Think of someone giving you a very heavy bottom, dropping you down towards the floor as you straighten the knees and come upright. And stack your spine bone by bone up, and then you open the shoulders by rolling them back and lifting your gaze. So again, we're going to repeat that twice more. Deep breath in, reach the arms, look up, breath out. We're going to go chin to chest, ribs sinking down towards the hips, keep the knees bent, slide the fingertips over the knees and reach fingertips to toes. Keep the gaze towards your knees and your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Take a breath. And then breathe out, go the opposite. So tailbone goes down towards the floor. Start straightening the knees and stack your spine bone by bone up, rolling the shoulders, lifting your head and gaze up. One more time. Deep breath in. Breath out, chin to chest, ribs to hips, keeping the knees bent, sliding the fingertips over the knees, reaching fingertips to toes. Deep breath in at the bottom. And then breathe out slowly, curl that spine back up. and roll the shoulders back and lift your gaze. So that's your roll down. Now, we're going to go down onto the mat and we're going to take nice and slowly steps to go down. Now, if you don't have any issues at all, you can immediately go onto the mat onto your knees, sit down and lie on your side and then turn face up. But if you are struggling to go down from the standing position, use the chair or something to hold on to. Go onto a knee, so almost like a mini lunge, and you're in this position, you're holding on, and then you drop the other knee, drop the hands down, and then get yourself seating, and then lower yourself down and turn around face up. So again, just adjust yourself to your needs when it comes to moving from upright to a lying position. So once you're in the face up lying position, we're going to do a couple of exercises here before we change on the side, and then go on your hands and knees and finish on your tummy. So once you're in this upright position, your feet, toes pointed forward, knees in line with hips, ribs and shoulders. Again, we go through the basic elements of where you need to be in a separate class on its own in the program. So this is just a run through to go through your basic elements in this position. You want to keep that ribs in line with hips and your head and neck is in the middle. Your head is nice and supported on the towel so that you're not completely flat. Hands are by your side. We're going to start with pelvic rock. So we're going to press that lower back into the floor, imprinting that lower back and releasing that tension from the arch of our lower back, and then just letting it go. Again, when we're doing this, we're not lifting the bottom. The bottom is still touching the floor. It's just a rock where we're pressing the back and then letting it go. Again, press back and letting it go. So we're going to do another 2 pelvic tilts or pelvic rocks, whatever you want to call them. And then we're going to go up into a shoulder bridge. So then we're going to press that lower back. We're going to press the bottom, squeeze the bottom, lift up, squeeze the knees away from your hips and start to lift up, 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 up. And the first one is always a little bit harder to do. Once you're up here, you take a breath and then breathe out, come down from the top of your spine. You're curling down, you're dropping the middle of your spine, and then you're dropping the bottom. Now, I could immediately go all the way up, but if you cannot, it doesn't matter. You start from where you can reach. So again, even if you manage to just do this, it's enough, and then slowly, slowly try and lift. This exercise is a combination of trying to open up the hips and squeezing the bottom and going up slowly. So it's a really good exercise, but it can take time to get used to it. So again, we're pressing that lower back, squeezing your bottom, lift, 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 lift. Hold at the very top, take a breath, and then breathe out, slowly come down, top, middle, and then your lower back. So we're going to do that 4 more times, breathing out as we lift, scooping up, squeezing the bottom, pushing the knees away from the hips, taking a breath at the top, and then breathing out, coming back down. Now, any neck pain, sometimes you would want to move that towel away and be completely flat. So when you're lifting all the way up, there's no tension on the neck. You want to keep the knees parallel and not let them open out. And you really want to squeeze through your bottom, which is your powerhouse to keep you upright. 2 more. Breathing out, scoop up and lift. And then come back down. Last one. Scoop up and lift. And then dropping down. Very good. And now from that position, we're going to take a little bit of an easier exercise. So I'm going to go for a little bit of hip twist and a bit of control. So your back, we go in neutral position. So neutral position is where your back is not arched, not flat, it's in the middle. You keep that tiny, tiny gap, ribs in line with hips, and we're going to drop one knee to the side without moving anywhere else, and then come back. So it's about trying to control the rotation coming from the hip and the rest of your body. So what we're trying to avoid is when you drop one knee, rotating the rest of your body over. So you want to keep it where it is, allowing the leg to drop and then come back. So this hip twist level 1 exercise, it's a beginner's level exercise, and it's a very good dynamic controlling exercise for the hips and the pelvis. And it's a really good one to start switching on your obliques, switching on your extended rotators of your hips. And it's not about how far, so it's not about range in the hip. You can have a little bit of stiffness on one side that doesn't drop so much. It's about how much you can lower it without tilting anywhere else. Again, we're going to go for 3 more. 2. Last one. Very good. Now to finish off the series in this position, we're going to go for a movement which requires your leg to extend away and not arch your back. So you want to keep that neutral position as you slide the leg away and then fold it back in. So we slide the opposite and we fold it back in. So this is now about trying to control the movement of the pelvis from one leg to the other as you switch, and also the extension of the leg. When you extend the leg when you walk, you want to try and not extend that lower back to compensate. So you're working on your core here and the control again through those segmental muscles that really control the movement of the rotation of the hips. And in this vertical position. 5, 4, and all throughout remembering our breathing, which again we go through the key elements, which is a whole video on its own. Last one. Very good. Now let's do a little bit of a stretch exercise. Feet go together, arms go out, and we're going to rotate as you breathe out. Breathe in at the bottom. Squeeze your legs as if you have a zip all the way from your toes all the way to your belly button. Breathe out, come back. Lower. Breathe out, come back. Again, this works on your obliques, but also it's a little bit of an exercise to get that stiffness in the lower back and upper back to loosen up. And it's a good one to finish off the series in face-up position. So the others were strengthening kind of activation exercises. Is a little bit more movement exercise. Still strengthening, but movement is the key here. 2 more on each side. Last one on each side. Well done. So if you need a quick stretch, this is where you just hug your knees to chest, offload any tension that might have built up in your lower back. And then drop your legs down. And we're going to turn to the sides. We're going to do a few exercises on your side. Just 2 exercises for this one. We are going to lie completely on the side. You can roll the towel, slide your hand underneath, and just hold the towel there. You want to make sure your shoulders are in line with hips, top hip lifted away. So you have a little bit of that waist there in the gap. And then you push your knees away, ankles together, hands on the hips if you can, or hands on the floor. And we're going to do again a rotation, which is your clam. You go up with the top of the knee and then go drop it down. So really working on that muscle in the back of your glutes. Open it up and close. Breathing out as you lift. Breathing in as you lower. Breathing out as you lift. Breathing in as you lower. We go for 6 and close. 5, keep looking forward so that your head, neck and spine are in a nice straight position. 3, 2, you're going to really feel it at the back. 1. Well done. Now we're going to do the next exercise. Leg is straight. I'm going to drop it down and we're going to lift it up. Drop it down, lift it up, working on the side of your hips, which are really important muscles to keep your body upright and to offload any tension onto your spine. Last one. Very good. And then relax. So from this position, we're going to turn to the other side. So you can either just turn around and give me your back, or I'm just going to change position to this side so you can keep seeing me. Again, head on the towel, hand on the side, hips in line with shoulders, knees drop down, hip lifted, ankles on top of each other, hand on the floor, open and close. So it's a nice simple clam to start off with, doing that rotation in the hip to really get that muscle in your hip going. Remember that side lifted of the waist, ribs in line with hips, and that neutral position through your back. Again, we go through these basic key elements in a video completely separate on its own before you even start any of the beginners exercises. 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now straighten the top leg. Let's go for 6 reps going up and down. 5, 4, 3, again looking forwards, 2, last 1. Well done. Bend the knee, and you can also rub your bottom. So we've done about 6 repetitions of each. You can also obviously increase the number of repetitions that you do if you feel like you can push it a little bit more. Now we're going to change position onto your hands and knees, and we're going to do 2 exercises here. When we change position, we're always just trying to make sure we remember our key elements, where is your back is in neutral position, both upper and lower. So in this position, we are looking at lifting the belly in, keeping that back nice and straight, rib cage in, but not into that arch position. So we're keeping it neutral as much as possible. Move the towel away. Hands are going to be underneath your shoulders and knees underneath the hips. Head looking down in between those hands, and we're going to do a simple one. Just imagine you have a glass of water balancing here into your lower back, and you want to extend one leg and then come back in, and then we're going to switch, extend the other. So with this one, the key point is trying not to lift or move through the waist, and as you extend, trying not to dip your body down. So you want to keep it straight. So really remembering of that glass of water balancing in that lower back, keeping that neutral position through the rest of your spine, and you're just simply moving your leg. So again, it looks very simple, but it's quite challenging if you start off from the very beginning and if you've never done it or you're recovering from an injury. So again, that's why these beginners classes are really truly important as your foundation classes. Breathing out as you reach, breathing in as you lower. And again, we're going to finish 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. And once we're in this position, your second exercise in this position is going to be a thread the needle. We're going to thread one hand under, and then we're going to rotate that elbow up towards the ceiling and extend the hand. And again, breathing in and breathing out. And this is a mobility exercise. Breathing in, breathing out. 3, breathing out. 2, and breathing out. Last 1, and breathing out. Very good. We do the opposite side. The right hand now goes under and then up, and under and then up, and under and then up. Last 1, and then drop back down, and you can go into child's pose. A quick stretch before we finish into our tummy position, which is our prone position, and that is onto your tummy. Again, the classes on the Pilates program are separated, as in the introduction of each position is a class on its own. So you don't need, so then they are combined towards the end as the first classes. So again, that's why I told you this would be kind of like a class 3 or 4 into the program. So you would have already done one whole class in one different position each one, so you'd get used to the positions a bit better. But this is a sample exercise for you just to have an idea of a whole class altogether as well. So lying on your tummy, we're going to just lie slowly down, again making sure you have no contraindications to lying on your tummy. You want to put your towel in front of you, head forward on the towel and hands by your side. And again, you want to keep that tailbone pointed away, lifted from the ribs and in line with the hips, hands by your side. And we're going to simply do 2 exercises here. The first one, hands are going to go as they are, and we're going to try lift head, neck, and a little bit of your chest into that swan dive without pressing too much in that lower back. And then we're going to lower down. So again, take a breath in Breathing out, we press down the shoulder blades, lifting the head and chest ever so slightly, and then drop back down. Again, breathing out, press and lift, and drop back down. We're going to do that for 4 more times. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, keeping head and neck nice and long, and down. 3, and down. 2, and down. 1, and down. Very good. And now for the last one, again, find that neutral spine position. We are going to simply go with a kick. So we're going to point your toes, flex your foot, point again, and then as you extend, you try and squeeze that hip and lift the leg a little bit up. Now, if you cannot do the lift, you simply go point, flex, point, lower down. Then do a little bit of a squeeze in the knee as you go down. So you go point, flex, point. As you go down, squeeze, either lift or just squeeze the knee and drop. Point, flex, point, lower. And as you straighten, you lift the knee and then drop. Point, flex, point, lower down, squeeze and drop. Point, flex, point, lower down, squeeze and drop. 2 more. Point, flex, point, lower down, squeeze and drop. Last one. Point, flex, point, lower down, squeeze and drop. Well done. And then from this position, push yourself up onto hands and knees and into child's pose. So knees open out, drop the chest, reach your hands and hold that position. Take a few breaths here. And out. And in. And out. Last one. And out. We're going to slowly come with your hands towards the knees. Curl your toes. If you can manage to come up into this position immediately, you can do the roll down. If you cannot, from that position, slide your knee. Again, use the chair if you need to hold on to the lift, and then curl your back toe or push onto your hand or the chair and lift yourself up. Again, choose any position that you have a preference to come up. And then I'm going to roll the shoulders back for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then roll forwards, exaggerated rolls forwards. 3, 2, 1. We're going to do the corkscrew, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. And out. And well done. So if you manage that class, that's a sample class from one of my online Pilates program. Remember, your details of the program can be found in the description box below. And if you have any question, as always, please let me know. Thank you. Bye-bye.